When you present a dish, each element kind of gives a different vibe to it. Hey y'all, hey, I'm here in Jefferson's kitchen. I'm about to make a pan-fried snapper that I marinated with a green seasoning as well as a gullah spice seasoning. The green seasoning is wet, the gullah spice is dry. And I'm gonna bread it in a little bit of cornmeal and flour and then pop it in the fryer and into the oven. So the first thing I want to do is just score the skin of the snapper so that the marinade and seasoning penetrates. So here I have the green seasoning. Inside of this seasoning is a bunch of basil, cilantro, parsley, one bunch of the green parts of the scallion, garlic, ginger, and baby peppers. And I just blended that up with about a 1/4 cup olive oil in the blender, and I got this. Most of the time you can go to your local grocery store to get a whole fish. If not, there are fish markets. I'm a fan of mackerel, and it's in season in the wintertime. But you can also use like a black bass or trout too. I like trout as well. So I'm gonna just sit that to the side for a few and let that marinate for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna go in and season it with my dry rub. Now I'm gonna make my pickling liquid for the pickled peppers. 1 cup of vinegar, a cup of water. I want these to be a little sweet, so I'm gonna do maybe like 3/4 cups of sugar actually. 2 teaspoons of salt. Bring that to a light simmer until the sugar is dissolved. And now for the pickled. Jefferson is so dramatic. I usually use pearl onions. They could be red pearl onions as well. I use all of them up in recipe testing. So I'm gonna use red onion now, which I love the flavor of as well. So whatever your onion preference is you're free to use. When you present a dish, each element kind of gives a different vibe to it. So if I just did these on straight across, it wouldn't really give the plate any interesting element to it, you know? In the actual marinade though, you can use Scotch bonnet, habanero, or chili peppers to give it a little bit of a kick. I don't want the sugar to stick to the bottom and like caramelize. I'm just stir this up while it's. So now, my pickle liquid is ready. I'm gonna make sure the sugar is dissolved. Just wanna make sure that the liquid is covered. Some extra acidity and let that go. Now that this has been marinating, I'm going to take off some of the excess marinade just so when I add it to the fryer, it doesn't release too much moisture into the oil. Now I have that gullah spice seasoning that I was talking to you about. And here is some celery seed, paprika, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, ground bay leaf. I'm gonna liberally season this with a little bit of salt first. Oh, this also has some ground allspice in there. That was about 3 tablespoons. So in here I have about 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of cornmeal, and a little bit of salt. You can fry it that way and batter it. You could also not use cornmeal and flour and just fry it without it. So it all depends on your preference. I do find that the cornmeal and flour gives it a little bit more texture. Yeah, and you could also bake it too if you didn't want to have with the same seasoning profile, no flour, cornmeal, just pop it in the oven on broil, and it'll be good. Before I put it in though, I do want to make sure that I dust off the residual amount of flour that's there, just so that it doesn't, 1, burn quickly, but 2, make the oil have too much flour in it. So that's gonna take about 5 minutes on each side, or about 10 minutes in total, and then I'm gonna pop it in the oven for about 3 to 5 minutes, just so I make sure that it's cooked through all the way. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes in the oven, and we're gonna go ahead and take that out. It smells really good. The temp on the fish should be 145, and if you have a thermometer, you can test it. Otherwise, if you see the fish's flesh is more on the white side than the opaque side, you know it's done.
I had no idea that it was just something that was created here to advocate for somebody like me.
To just have a conversation with one another and figure out where can I be of service.
I think that's really cool that we're able to take pause and do that.